Could you just introduce yourself, so give us your full name, how old you are, and what you do?
Like during interrogation. I'm Sergei Davidis, I'm 54. I'm from Moscow, but now live in Vilnius temporarily. I'm a head of Political Prisoners Support Memorial Program and co-chair of Human Rights Defense Center Memorial. Memorial is a huge network of human rights organizations in Russia. The first and main mission of Memorial was restoration of historical memory, mainly memory about the victims of Stalin's repressions.
Memorial was the oldest human rights organization in Russia until it was ordered to close by a Moscow court in December 2022. In that same year, the organization won the Nobel Peace Prize for its efforts to support Russian political prisoners.
When our organization was liquidated, we were charged with violations of foreign agents law and justification of extremism and terrorism for our support of political prisoners who were charged with extremism and terrorism. Since it is forbidden to speak the truth about the war, I, with my family and my colleagues also, had to leave the country. I left Russia in the beginning of last March, soon after the war began. And reasons were rather obvious. I'm responsible for this project of political prisoners support, and in order to continue this activity, I should be free at least. I'm afraid my English would not be enough to express completely. For sure, it's a kind of disgust, it's a kind of horror, because on the one hand, it's something absolutely awful. War in Europe, in places which all of us know and visited. I have been to many cities and towns which are now destroyed. And when peaceful people are killed, we don't know what for. It's absolutely awful, terrible situation. But when we know that our country is doing that on behalf of us, at our expense, it's especially awful. Sometimes you just want to close your eyes and forget about it and imagine that you open your eyes and it's not true. Any war is awful, but war which our country wages is especially awful for us who feel responsibility for that. And war against those whom we consider even closer to us than some of our compatriots makes this feeling even harder. We are against this war. We have never supported it. We support Ukraine, but anyway we are responsible for it. Not because we did something special to unleash this war, for sure not. But we allowed it to happen anyway. We, as a part of our country, were not effective enough to withstand the dictatorship that allowed it to happen. Usually the protests take place over there. Last time between 200 and 300 people gathered on this lawn.
What would happen if we did this in Russia?
It was impossible to put it. Each person which comes not with these photos but just with the word peace or no war on a sheet of paper, or even with 8 asterisks symbolizing no war in Russian, is arrested, taken to police office and often prosecuted. There is unfortunately no freedom of expression, no freedom of assembly now in Russia. The process of deterioration was lasting for many years, but after the war was unleashed, the last remaining freedoms were destroyed.
Memorial estimates, conservatively, that the number of political prisoners currently detained in Russia is at least 500.
For sure, the situation with political prisoners is getting worse. We should worry about it. Now they declared that it is a crime to have an opinion, to express an opinion different from the state about the war. For sure, it's much more dangerous and much more simple to become a political prisoner now.
People who are detained face the prospect of trumped-up charges, kangaroo courts, and even torture at the hands of the security services.
If we speak about political prisoners, it happens sometime, but usually in the very beginning of investigation, when people are arrested and are considered not to be officially arrested yet. There is no control in this situation, and they can be tortured, especially the FSB guys, Federal Security Bureau, are inclined to torture people. Probably they do it in many cases. If you speak about political prisoners, tortures are usually used to frighten them and to make them witness against themselves and their friends. They beat. They use plastic bags to suffocate. They especially often use electricity to throw the current through the body. And these tortures are described, especially often practiced by FSB.